Hey guys, it's Anthony and welcome to another 1-minute review, and this time we're taking a look at Obsession. Now before we even start this, I want to give a huge shout out to Dan Halligan. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Dan. He is nothing but amazing. He's an author and he's the creator of this game. I think this is his only game that he made, and he's made it in a couple of expansions to it, and it's been huge. I've heard nothing but great things about it. Well, I got the fortunate opportunity at Dice Tower East to buy a used copy. Unfortunately, the used copy was incomplete. It was missing cards and a few other little things, and it had like the expansion, but it was missing all the cards of the expansion. It was really weird. It was kind of I got a half copy, and it was very sad. It was like, not surprised, but it was very sad. And I messaged Dan Halligan, and he's like, dude, he's like, I got you. I'm just gonna send you all the upgraded stuff because it was also the first edition I got, which they improved a lot on the second edition. Is actually the only version now is the second edition. So he sent me everything. He didn't ask for any shipping costs, nothing. He literally shipped me out everything. And he's like, dude, I treat every game like it's a member of my family, and I want everybody to have the best experience possible with my game. So he shipped me out a ton. I got like a box of stuff, tiles, upgraded, board, the whole 9 yards. And he didn't ask for anything. This guy's awesome. Dan, I know you're having success now, but I hope it continues. I'm going to tell everybody about this game because not only are you awesome, but this game is great. And I'll lead into my review for that. This game is just amazing. And I'll start out just to tell you about what it is about. Of course, it is called Obsession. And the game is basically a slice of life from like Jane Austen period era stuff. And you might be like, well, how does that make a game? Well, it's actually really clever how it makes a game. So your whole goal is, as a family, is to accumulate fame and wealth. And basically, it's a point-based game, so you're going to end up getting the most points. But the way you do that is basically by hosting parties. You host these events for guests to come, and you start out with cards that are basically your family, and these are the people that will attend. All the different parties, and you'll get more guests as you go along, and you have like low-tier guests and high-tier guests. So you have these worker, and it's kind of a weird worker placement game, kind of, sort of. It's hard to describe. You get these tiles that are part of your mansion. You start out with them. And how you host a party is basically you put a tile up here, and every party needs certain workers in your mansion to attend it. So like, for example, this one needs your blue worker, which I believe is the butler. You'll go here. It's required to put him there. And then it'll tell you exactly what you get out of it. So depending on the tile you play, they'll do different things. Some will let you play certain cards from your hand. Like this will let you play 2 family cards. So you'll have him attend here, you'll play 2 family cards, and you basically get the benefits from that. So when I play him here, I'll play the 2 family cards, and every gentry, I should say, every card in this has some kind of result you get from playing them to these events. So what happens is this will bring up like my reputation, and you have limitations, I will say, on your cards. Some require you to have a certain reputation before you can even play them. So you'll improve your reputation as you go along because, British society is based on reputation back then. You'll bring it on up, and you'll basically level it so you can play better cards as you go along. But you'll also get money, which you need to buy new additions to your mansion. So you'll accrue money, you'll accrue reputation, and some will actually let you pull more cards in your hand, which is important because when you play cards, you don't immediately get them back. You don't draw cards every round. You only have the cards you have in your hand, and when you play them, they're discarded. And you can't get them back until you basically waste a turn called resting, where you draw all your cards back in your hand, and then basically lets you replay them again. But you waste a whole turn doing that is the problem. It slows you down a little bit. And it's a very clever game because even after you go to this party, these servants will go in expended service and they're unavailable until they get back to available service, barring some occasional mansion things that'll let you cheat. So you basically have to wait, and every round they'll refresh and refresh. So you basically skip a turn before you can even get your person back to hold a party with that person again. And so you're going to go along and you're going to buy upgrades for your mansion with the money you get. You have objectives that give you extra points. You have more servants you can hire in your pool to basically upgrade and have more available servants. Because as you go along, the higher level gentry, the more important gentry, will require more servants to play even to the cards. They'll even have gentry you have to play to the cards. So even though you have to play them to your event, you also have to play them to the card itself. So you're going to need more servants. And as you go along, you're going to be going along this track each round. And not only that, you'll have random events hit you. You'll get different objective cards that you'll basically wean out as you go along. But you also have the Fairchilds. And the Fairchilds are 2 special cards. I actually didn't put them out, but they are 2 special cards that you'll be vying for courtship of every round. And if you basically meet the theme, and every round the theme changes randomly, if you have basically more points in that kind of mansion upgrade section, you will get one of those cards in your hand for that season, basically. And it gives you a big buff because if you get to play it, it gives you a lot of points. Until you go all the way around to the final courtship, and if you win the final courtship, you get to keep them in your hand. But every season, they'll bounce back and forth between people's hands. This game is awesome, and it's an extremely, extremely clever way to do a theme that might normally be boring. It is absolutely not boring. It is absolutely awesome. It is such a interesting game of upgrade meets worker kind of placement meets objectives and goals and random events and card play. It is a genius game. This game is literally genius. I can't give him enough credit. This game is just a perfect engine, and it does so many different things, and it is such a joy to play. Of that, I mean, I was kind of blown away, honestly, how good this game was. And I could see why everybody was raving about it. I immediately went out and bought Upstairs Downstairs, which was, even though I got a lot of upgrades and stuff, I didn't have the newest expansion, and I got that, and I don't regret it. I mean, it just added even more to it. So, and everything about this game is on point, and we're trying to do a score rating system now, 1 to 5, 5 being absolutely have to have in your library, and 1 being, set it on fire in your backyard. I will say, actually, I will give this a 5. And normally I'll ding things by a point based on, how expensive it is, or maybe if complexity. And this was close to getting a 4 only because it does take a little bit to learn. However, this game is genius. Honestly, this game is just amazing. It's a theme that hasn't largely been touched. It is a theme that a lot of people will like, men and women. It is a game engine that is absolutely perfect and hums. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. The only drawbacks I will say is it does take a little bit of chugging through. It is not an intro person's game, but it is not an expensive game. It's maybe 40, 50 bucks, something like that. So it's not super expensive or anything like that. And honestly, this guy is such a good guy. You just support him. You should support him anyway. I mean, he's just such a really, really cool guy, and his work speaks for itself. But get this game, put it in your collection, try and play it. Even if you're a new player, try and play this game. This is a pinnacle game. Honestly, this is just an amazing game. And even if you're not super on the theme and everything, you're like, okay, maybe it's a little boring, but it's not. The game is just awesome. It's just an awesome, perfect, one of those, for me, again, it's like one of those top 10 kind of games that I love having in my collection. I love playing it every time. And there's honestly no other game really like it. I can't think of a single game that works in this way, this engine, this perfect mix of everything. So definitely get it. Add it to your collection. Give it a shot. You might not think it looks amazing when you lay it out, but it is an amazing engine game. So I highly recommend this. Get it, and you'll be amazed, like I will, hopefully. So guys, I hope you loved a 1 minute review. This one has a special place in my heart, and I know it reflects on that, but honestly, you will not be sad with this game. Is just awesome. So listen, even if you're not part of high society, you can at least pretend to be, right? Right, Tom? We're part of high society, right? Sort of.
Yeah, me high society.
I hope you guys enjoyed another 1 minute review, guys, and don't forget to game on.